So you've sent out your survey, you've collected the data, you want to come back to your forms. Now, one thing I'd forgotten in the previous lesson was to always name your forms. So I've come back to my drive and I found they said untitled previously, but to title your forms, you click up here and you give it a title. So when you go back to your Google Drive, you'll be able to find it. You also want to do it to the, let me go back because I've put it in folders too. So you want to make sure you use folders. And also the response, which is the spreadsheet. So you have two files associated with that survey. One is the form, the other is the responses, and you want to name them both. So I'm going back to the responses, and this is all my data that I've collected, and I want to graph it. Now it just says yellow and blue, and I need to take those variables and make them into numbers that are graphable. And to do that, I'm only going to use, make your form simple. Don't make multiple. For this project, just make one question and something that you could graph. So I'm going to just select that column, and I'm going to go to data, and I'm going to make a pivot table report. Now when that does, it's going to change the words blue and yellow into numbers. It's going to count each one for me. So here I'm going to pick, because it's a column, I'm going to add a field, the column of favorite peeps. I don't want totals, and I'm going to add some values. So the values are favorite peeps. Now it says 0. But I know I have more than 0, but that's because it's trying to sum or add up numbers. Well, those aren't numbers. They're words, blue and yellow. It doesn't know how to sum that. So I'm going to go to click on this and go to count A. And now it's counting. So I have 8 blue, 18 yellow. Yeah, that makes sense. And right here, update each. So every time the form changes, because this is selected to update the table in each change, this is dynamic. This will automatically change when if the form is still being filled out. But now what do? I need to, once again, I want to make this a graph, a chart. So I select those two columns, A, B, and C, and I click this little icon, or I could go up here and click on chart. So there's different ways to do it. So I'm going to go to chart. Oh, and what do I do here? I have to pick a chart type, and they give you some recommended ones, and I'm going to click this. It's a bar chart, and it shows me 8 blue and 18 yellow, but that's red. I want to make that yellow. So I go to customize, and I'm going to click here. I'm going to give this a title, my chart. So I'm going to go to keep peep favorites, and see that changes, and I can change the font size and the color. So say I want to make that color. I can change the legend as well. I can move it to the bottom, or I could leave it on the right. I like it on the right. And I can change the font again for that. So, or the font style. So let's just change it to that, and I'll make it a little bigger. So now I want to change this color red to yellow. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to see if we can find, yes, so yellow right here, end of the columns. The color is, I'm going to leave it bright yellow. Well, that's not peep yellow. Maybe that's peep yellow. That's peep yellow. So I've got blue and yellow. And now I'm going to hit insert. And so here's my graph. Now, so what if I want to make that percents now? So I have that chart. I'm going to save that chart, but I might also want to use percents in my infographic. So again, I'm going to select these two rows. I'm going to make another chart. And let's see, oh, chart types. Well, let me click up here, and let me try pie, and let me click on that. No, that's not going to work. So what's it doing that? So maybe if I switch the columns and the rows, or I uncheck that. Ah, yes, play around with the options, because what I just did, this was selecting column B as headers, and B isn't a header. So you have to read what this is. So now I have a percents in my chart. So I'm going to use this too. So I'm going to customize this, and I'm going to call this Peep favorites too by percent. and I want to change the color again. Once again, I need to go to yellow and change yellow to yellow. There we go. But it's hard to read the white font, so maybe I'll change this to something darker. Let's see, how's it? No, I don't want that. Let's leave that. I like that. Let's leave that. So the font color's here. So there we go. That's a little easier to see, and I'm going to actually make it a little bigger, maybe even bigger than that, because we're talking about infographics here, and I'm going to use a different font. So you can even make it bigger. No, I don't think I can, but that's okay. And I'm going to insert. So now here I have two charts that are taking my data and visualizing it already. And I want to put those, the next step I'm going to show you is, well, how do I move those to either a Google, I'm going to put it in a Google drawing or a Google presentation.